Hi children, today we are going to learn more about our body. We know our body, we have sense organs, we have cells, all kinds. We know we have tissues, we have organs, other organs, all kinds. But we do a little more in detail today. First of all, we do something interesting. Let's talk about something very interesting about our body. They say human body also has a tail. So you and I, we also have a tail. But it is very short and stubby bone at the base of our backbone. The last tiny bone. Last stubby, short, tiny bone. That is our tail. That's the last of the backbone. Most people have brown eyes than blue. They say we have black, but actually it is brown. Most people have brown eyes, not black. Blue eyes are very rare. Then another interesting fact about a ear is the sense of hearing depends on the tiny hair that we have inside our ear. If we lose these hair, we lose our hearing. You will be unable, you won't be able to hear if you lose that tiny hair from your ears. So you've got to protect your ears, you have to take care. We are learning about our body in detail today. Our body, right? Our body. So what is the interesting thing that we learned today? There are tiny hair which help us to hear. If we lose our hearing. Most people have brown eyes, few have blue eyes. And then we also have a tail. The short stump, last bone of the backbone is our tail. Now, talking about our body. Now, organs. In our body, we have what is called organs. We have organs in our body. Our body is made up of cells. Okay? What do we have in our body? We have millions of cells. Alright? Then, cells are the smallest unit of life which join together to form tissues. So, what are cells? They are the smallest unit. They are the smallest unit. Cells are the smallest unit of life. Smallest unit of life which join together, many cells join together to form tissue. So we have cells, we have tissues. Now what is tissue? Cells are the smallest unit of life. Now what is a tissue? Now the cells join together to form tissue. So many cells join together. Join together. Many cells join together and form what is called tissue. The cells are the smallest unit. Tissues are formed by many cells joining together. Now, many similar tissues combine together to perform a particular function. That's called an organ. Now let's talk about organ. Now what is organ? How are organs formed? Now, many tissues combine. Many tissues combine. Many tissues combine together. Many tissues combine together and form a function. They do a function together, a common function, and that is an organ. So, we have small cells, that's the smallest unit of life. Number of cells joined together form tissues, and many tissues combine together to form a common function. That's called an organ. Okay? Now, in our body, we have what is called sense organs. So, we're going to look at now sense organs. Sense organs. Sense organs. Sense organs. How many sense organs do we have? We have 5. We have 5 sense organs in our body. All right? We already know that we have 5 sense organs in our body which help us to know the world. And what do these 5 sense organs do? Help us to know the world. 5 sense organs help us to know the world around us. What's happening? Okay, now let's take each of this. All right? 1, we have, number 1, you have eyes. What about the eyes? How many eyes do we have? We have 2 eyes. They help us to see things. So what do the eyes do? Function of the eye? Help us to see what's happening around. Some people cannot see things properly, whether it is nearby or at a distance, or both they cannot see. They have to wear spectacles. If you cannot see close, wear spectacles. If you cannot see far, wear spectacles. So, the first sense organ is eye. They help us to see. If you cannot see close, if you cannot read, if you cannot see far away, somebody is coming, then you got to go in for a spectacle. Now, what about blind people? Blind people use different kind of book. Now, you read, you see, you read, all kinds you can do. But what about the blind? The blind people also read. Do they read? Yes. They read with the help of a different type of book. Blind people use different kinds of books for reading. It is known as braille. It is known as braille. All right? Now, dots are raised. In the book, the dots are raised. Okay? Dots are raised on a paper, and the blind people can read the dots by touching the paper. So they are blind people. They touch the paper and they are able to read the raised dots. So whether you are blind, whether you can see, all of us can read. Only thing they do, reading in a different manner. Okay, next we look at the second organ is ears. Second sense organ that we are looking at. First eye, second ears. Okay. You hear different kinds of sounds with your ears. So with eyes you see, ears you hear sounds. How do we protect our ears? There are tiny hair inside your ear. Protect it. If you lose, you do not hear. You hear different kinds of sounds through your ears. Some people cannot hear at all. So they take the help of hearing aid to hear clearly. So ears help you to hear. Okay? Now, if you cannot hear, then you use what is called hearing aid. Okay? Hearing, you can use hearing aid. It will help you to hear. Some people are deaf. They are born deaf. So they understand by lip reading. So not all have ears. Some people are born deaf. Okay, here we said blind. You see, you read. Blind people, they're born blind, but they can read how using the braille. There are dots, raised dots on the paper. They touch and read. Ears, you can hear, and those who cannot hear, they use a hearing aid. But what about the ones who are born deaf? The deaf people, they can understand by lip reading. How do they understand? Lip reading. They look at you. They can look at you, and the way you talk, they can understand. So the deaf people who are born deaf, they can understand your lip movement, your lip reading, or communicate through sign language. They also use sign language. All right? That's about the hearing. Now let's look at our tongue. The third sense organ we are looking at is our tongue. Tongue. Tongue helps us to know and taste the food. What does the tongue help you? To taste. They help you to taste the food that you eat. All right? Tongue helps you to know, helps you to know the taste of food. It helps us whether food is bitter, sweet, salty. So what are the tastes that you look at? Bitter. The food is bitter. If the food is sweet, the food is salty. All this we know by the tongue. Now, the fourth organ, sense organ, is our nose. The fourth one we are looking at is our nose. What about the nose? The nose helps us by smelling different kinds. We can smell with our nose. Good smell, bad smell, gas smell, perfume smell. If the food is bad, that you can sense with your nose. Nose helps in smelling different kinds of smell. Nose also warns us if the smell is something bad, like smell of leak in the gas in the kitchen. The smell is detected by a striking, pungent smell. Strong smells are picked up by your nose. All right? Now, something very interesting about a nose is your nose sense of smell is closely linked to your memory. They say your smell is linked to your memory. Your sense of smell is linked to your memory. To your memory. That's very interesting. All right? Another thing, interesting thing is they say females possess better sense of smell than men. So, female has better sense of smell than men. Okay? This is the interesting fact. One is it linked to our memory. Second, females have a stronger sense of smell. Another thing is you cannot taste what your saliva can't dissolve. Tongue helps us to taste sweet things, bitter things, salty things. But if something you put on your tongue and your saliva cannot dissolve, you cannot taste it. Okay? Then your back is the least sensitive part of your body. All right. So these are the things about the nose. Then the fifth sense organ is our skin. Skin. The most interesting part of the skin is your back is the least sensitive. Huh? Back. The back. Your back is the least sensitive part of your body. Back is the least sensitive part of the body. Okay, let's look at skin. Skin helps us to feel anything, whether it's a pressure or pain. What does the skin do? It helps us to feel pain or pressure. All right. Now, let's go through what we have done. We are talking about our body, organs. We have organs in our body. All right. Now, cells are the smallest unit of life in our body. Tissues, many cells join together and form what is called a tissue. Now, many tissues combine together to form an organ, to do a particular action, whatever. Next, we are looking at sense organs. We have 5 important sense organs which helps us to see the world, know the world. There are 5, and with the help of these sense organs, we know the world around us, where we live in. Eyes help us to see around, move around, and then with the eyes we can read. If we cannot see, read closely, or we cannot see far away, then we have to wear spectacles. We got to go to a doctor. Blind, people are born blind, they have no eyes, still. Blind people also can read. They have some special types of books with the dots raised on the paper. They move their hand and they can read. And that is called a braille. The special book is called a braille. Ears. We use our ears to hear. If we cannot hear, we have problem, then we use a hearing aid to help us to hear better. There are children born deaf, and to help them, they look at a lip movement or sign language for reading or speaking. Tongue. Tongue helps us to taste food, whether it's bitter, sweet, or salty. The 4th sense organ is nose. Help us to smell any strong, sweet smell around. Especially if there's a gas leakage, you can easily detect. If you have like delicious food being cooked, you can easily detect. Now, the smell is linked to our memory, they say. It is linked to the memory that you have. Now, they say females has better sense of smell than men. Finally, skin. They say the skin, the back of our body, is the least sensitive part of our body. Back. We feel, with the skin, we feel the pain. We feel the pressure.